Go ahead and get started. Call our meeting to order. We have a quorum present, so we're going to do the invocation. Should, would you?
Yes, sir. Once again, Lord, we thank you for the day and the ways that you bless us. We ask you to watch over us as you take care of this business of restaurant, different needs and concerns. Ask you to be with Laney and her family, Lord, as you take care of some family business. Watch over us. Have a good meeting, Lord. We'll carefully give you the praise and the glory for all you do. That's my prayer in Jesus' name.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Ma'am.
No, she's not. Well, she said she would try to get here before the meeting. All right, so we'll start out with our item number B, discuss goals for fiscal year 2023. This is kind of an open forum to see what our council thinks about our city and where we're going to go in the future. Particularly interested in the new council members and all the people that they've talked to and ideas that they've heard, and if they would like to share all of that with us. Lane is not here, so be glad to hear from you, Jay, and then I'll turn it over to everybody else for thoughts and ideas about what's going on.
Well, I do have a short wish list of 8 items. And that is, when Marita, Brent, and I were campaigning last election, all of us were talking about transparency within the city council. And this is part of that transparency, that let people know what's going on, where they can watch the city council and hear what's going on. To make this a huge leap forward, I'd like to see all of the department heads give a monthly report. The building inspector, we had 15 building permits, 1 new house. That's a report. Chief of police can say we had 3 fender benders and a drug bust. That's a report. John with the streets, the fire chief, we had 16 responses in the last month, 1 fire. You know, that gives people, right now people don't think that the fire department does anything. The siren doesn't go off anymore whenever they're alarmed, whenever there's an alarm, whenever they need to respond. They don't hear it, so they think that they don't do anything. Well, the statistics show, and I saw it, we were here last week, that they have had a lot of calls. That people don't think that. So if we could get each department head to give a little brief report, it doesn't have to do names or addresses or anything. Just a little overview of what happened. Also, a load limit sign needs to be put at the west end of Burnett Street. Burnett Street has a 7,500 pound sign, load limit sign on it when you turn onto it from Irving Street. But if you turn onto it from Foreman Road, there's no indication of that there's a load limit, so the 18-wheelers just keep zipping back. And that's their excuse. I have stopped them and say, hey, there's a load limit on it. I didn't see a sign. There's not one on the west end. I had a lot of complaints about the fencing at the ballpark. It's piled up, grass is growing around it. It's been there for 8 or 10 months, I guess now. And it doesn't look like it's gonna go anywhere, so it's gonna be used.
that T Construction?
No,
So
it's
that
not
is the
construction.
property of, Orange Crush. That does not belong to the city.
There's piles of it.
I think it was donated, if I remember right, it was donated to them. They were gonna use it to replace, some of the old fencing that was there, and they just hadn't got to it, I guess.
Get some money put in the budget to mow ditches. Zoning. A lot of people talk about zoning.
The ditches need to be mowed, Jay. What ditches need to be mowed?
Well, on Bradford and Peach Street, there's a lot of them around it. I don't remember all the
Yeah.
addresses right off the top of my head, but there's no houses there. There's just a lot of them around the city. I could collect addresses.
No, I don't,
Or
people want to take care of their own ditches, but if there's nobody living there, they can't
I
understand.
thought that was brought up in the earlier council about the ditches and the upkeep of the ditches.
The upkeep of the
By
ditches
the
is
property
covered by
owner.
ordinance by the adjoining property owner.
Yes.
The only thing, like you said, if there's not a house there, you self-put it in.
She'll be the property owner. Correct?
Well, yes, so
But
we
the problem-
will mow a ditch that's in front of a property with no house on. You know, that gets grown up. The problem that we have is we don't like to take the big mowers out and cut those type of ditches that's so close to houses. I mean, you can just imagine that thing picking something up and throwing it. We had an incident not too long ago, about 5 years ago. We threw a blade through a house that was over 1,800 foot away.
And it went through the brick.
Went through a brick wall,
Wow.
2 interior walls.
One of the woods. Now,
Yep.
Yeah, we don't need that.
So in that case, could we spray them with weed killer and then you don't have to worry about coming back for months?
I know the county, out in the county, around where I live, and I've seen other houses, if you go by through the county and there's a house that's grown up, and they do spray the ditch. You know, in the county area, I've noticed that because they spray around some ditches I've seen where it's high. That way they don't have that responsibility, you know, it's kind of dead, it's gone, and you ain't gotta worry about hitting a culvert or messing something else up, throwing blades through people's house and all that, they just spray it and be done.
Yeah.
It's
And the
cheaper.
problem with us moving it, I mean, it wouldn't be, you know, once a month. It wouldn't be, you know, as frequently as probably you would imagine that you would like to see it. And it wouldn't be a manicured cut. It would just be with a bush hog.
It'd be a top off.
That's why I.
and the more that we do, the more it becomes our responsibility to take care of people's property. If a ditch is overgrown, chances are the property is overgrown as well, so, you know, cited for overgrown property. I know we've got there on Flint Street, there's 2 lots. Wish I knew which, I think it's next to Crockett and Flint. On the south side, there's 2 lots there that are very much grown over. And there's other places like that in the city that we need to be finding out who owns it. And, you know, having Bobby cited for tall grass.
Could we cite it for tall grass in the ditch, even though it's not, it's our right of way, huh?
That's correct. You can.
You still cite it? I got 3 yards on my street, so I ain't worried about ditches.
So in our budget proposal for next year, we do have a mowing proposal to submit to you guys for abandoned properties that aren't getting mowed. And I think the ordinance says that anything that is under 5 acres has to be kept up. Anything over, like if, you know, if you've got a pasture on Lansing, it does not have to be mowed. We can't cite for that.
It used to be an acre, didn't
I think it's three acres. Three acres or
acres?
more.
Three.
Okay, well, zoning,
Zoning's come before council 3 times, and it was voted down each time because of the people who came out and spoke against it.
Your pluses for zoning.
What kind of zoning would be like? We have some zoning for,
We zone by ordinance currently.
we have zoning for mobile homes. You know, they all have to be on kind of that side of, on the South Street. So there you go. But what else, what other kind of zoning are we talking about?
to keep businesses out of, woods.
Or the one on the park.
Well, no, not just that one, but, there's others around. And then zoning would, for future, keep an industry from coming into a neighborhood. If Roy McDonald was to sell the lot across the street from me, there's no telling what could be built there without zoning. We definitely would not want a business straight across the street from us, not in a residential neighborhood.
Cross Irving? Cross from Roy, you said?
He's talking about Roy's lot next door to him. Between him and Druids.
Right there.
I know about the gully, okay.
And housing and development. Housing and development under license section 9-34 licenses. The city secretary shall not issue a license unless the applicant is in compliance with all applicable ordinances and laws. And the license expire on the 31st day of December each year. Okay, it says that if you have mobile homes that have to be skirted, if you go by the mobile home park on Irving Street, I think there's one that's skirted out of all of the mobile homes. There's a lot of travel trailers in there. But mobile homes that are there are not skirted. They're not how they're supposed to be.
I think we're gonna be addressing the mobile homes, aren't we?
You're continuing.
Mobile home parks,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Back to Winona Point, that guy got the sign business down there on. Have you not talked about that? Little boy got the sign shop, Lawndale. He's okay.
Well, there's nothing keeping him from having that, other than it makes his neighbors angry. There's
He
no
does.
ordinance or law that says that he can't run that business at that place.
So you're saying maybe Jay, instead of zoning, could we maybe visit or entertain an ordinance of some kind?
Well, whatever would work. And Dollar General could build across the street. Who would want that traffic in a residential neighborhood? It's all just food for thought. But it is, I came across that many times in my campaign.
So back to housing and development, what does that mean? What do we need to do with that?
Housing and development, Jay.
Yeah, housing and development, what do we need to do about that?
If And I haven't read all of the things that pertain to this particular park, things that are required. But one that I did read was the skirting, and I know that they're out of compliance on that, and they haven't been skirted.
You in a trailer park, like in by me?
And right now, according to the ordinance, manufactured homes that are brought into the city have to be at least made after June 15th of 1976. That's an old mobile home. It's wore out before it gets here. I would like to see that go to 10 years, not more than 10 years old at the date of application.
Chris would be better on this. I don't know that we can discriminate on the age as long as it passes the testing of everything.
I haven't seen it challenged. I know other cities have gone, 10's pretty aggressive, but I've seen some do a 20. But you are subject to challenges like that. I just haven't seen it personally attacked, but I have seen limitations in ordinance.
1976 is when the HUD code came out and had certain specifications for
Right.
That's why
Do mobile homes last 20 years?
Huh?
Good.
I know
Depends on how well you take care of it.
inspections
Sure.
before they come.
Depends on how well you take care of it.
20.
And the last thing, last but not least, get a signal that looks like, to eliminate one of the train whistles when they come through West Orange. Probably the Donnell Street crossing. Orange has many no train horn crossings.
Flag zones.
That cost them over $1 million.
And when I can hear them at my house, like I'm standing next to the railroad track, that's just too loud. It's too much, it's not necessary. If you can hear it all the way that, more than a mile away, certainly the people that are close by can hear it. I don't know what Orange had to do or what had to be done for them to be able to have a no train horn, but I think that's probably the one.
Close date. So we ain't got the money for that.
There is a lot of money involved in that. I checked into that after you talked to me about it. And I know, I put in a call to Jim Wolf for the city of Orange, but I heard that just one crossing was like $100,000.
100,000.
You're not talking about closing crossings, you're just talking
No.
about putting a
A sign, right?
sign.
Yeah,
that
just a
says
sign.
No whistle.
And we already have the arms that come down.
But there's other things you have to have.
What's the law say? Do you know, Chris?
I'm not sure, but I know there's a lot of intricacy.
You have to have an esplanade in the middle to where people can't go around.
Yeah,
the
it's
arms.
when you
On each
restrict
side.
the whistle.
There's special arms you have to
Yeah.
signage before.
There's a special concrete pad you have to lay down.
There's stuff you have to do in lieu of having a whistle, basically.
Right,
Correct. And everything has to be
And that's
approved by
what
the railroad.
gets
to
cost.
enforcement.
I mean, I can still wait for Jim to contact me and see how they did it and all
Money.
that.
It's all about money.
Yeah, I think if you have the money, it's just complying with what the regulations are, but I understand it's pretty expensive.
Doesn't mean we can't look into it and see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See what it would cost to do that, what the requirements are for us to do that. All right. Is that it?
I'm done.
You done?
Thanks, man.
That's a pretty good list, thank you.
I'm glad you did all that campaigning.
And just reports from the department heads, I've already asked, because we've talked about it, I've
Yes, sir.
already asked all the department heads to make a report at the council meeting. We would have had that at the last one, had the mayor not forgot to have that put on the, I had asked them and then I forgot to put it on the agenda, so we'll have it on the agenda.
That means they all gotta stay over.
Huh?
They get off at 5. That means they gotta stay over.
The Department head?
Whoever, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're already here though.
They're usually at the
They're
meetings
here.
already.
Some of them.
We gotta get here. 3-year anniversary today, too.
Better get out of here, boy.
All right, well, you know, priorities, man, you gotta set priorities.
I'm here, Anna.
That's right.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a priority I'd set.
I'll just forward her.
Dedication.
Tonight may be the last supper.
All right, so is there anyone else with anything?
We need to let the fire department talk, get Cindy out of here.
Nah.
And addressing the transparency issue as well, you know, we've got the owl going, we're posting stuff more on Facebook, Marie's got a good Facebook page. We've got a City of West Orange page that we post stuff on. You know, people are saying they don't know what's going on, it's because they're not reading what's happening and or listening now to our meetings.
I've been to one of the pages.
I've listened to the meetings, you can understand everything that's going on, you can see good and everything, so. It picks up even people that talk quietly. So,
Hey, why don't, if they got a problem, won't they come to meetings and get their 3 minutes in? They want, you know, ask questions and stuff.
all right, so, I agree with you, Mike. So our low limit sign at west end of Burnett, is there anything can we just put up another low limit
We've
sign?
already got an ordinance that addresses it, so we can put a local limits on.
Evidently, in the past, there was one. Because why would we put one up and not the other? You know,
Yeah,
but it's neither here nor there.
I agree with that, too. All right.
That's an easy fix, huh?
The fencing at the ballpark, does anybody know how to get a hold of whoever runs Orange Crush and give them a call and tell them we're getting complaints about it and they need to clean it up?
Yes.
As far as that goes up there, what's the status on the grant money
Yeah,
to fix the
that was
park?
my next thing, the park. I mean,
That grant hasn't come through yet. John, you want to speak to that?
Well, Mike can probably talk more about it than I can with the ARPA.
We haven't gotten our second tranche of money yet.
We've applied for it and it
Yes.
just hasn't come through
It
yet.
was supposed to come in April, and we don't have it yet.
So it's kind of on hold. Hopefully we'll get it soon, but you know, as soon as we do get it, we'll start. We've already looked at some things and John has, one company has presented a drawing to how they would replace the equipment that's over here. And we've kind of done some preliminary edging cabinet for it. So, you know, we dabbled, stuck our fingers in it just a little bit, but not much. And so
Yeah, we've kind of put on hold until we get the money so we can move forward. Again, I know there's,
well, like the drainage ditches that I had addressed, is that something that could be done before the grant? Or replacing some of the boards, do some painting or something at the park? Can any of that things be done? Or no?
The short answer is no.
Okay.
And it's all about the money.
Okay.
We're basically out of money in the Parks Department on maintenance, repairs.
And the other end of that is that once we get the money, you know, whatever we do down there now may just be ripped out and replaced, and so we won't
Defeat our
we
purpose.
want to go in there and do the whole thing at one time if we can. We're gonna get the money. Yes, go team, yes.
How much? How much? 300?
Just below 400.
Oh, cool.
That ought to be a good, couple of good park revitalization. Anybody got anything else?
I was gonna ask about the drainage, the second phase of the drainage. That looks to come next year, to happen maybe next year?
That's the plan. So when we had our kickoff with, SPI, you know, they said that they were about 1 year out on delivering plans. So 1 year will be up in February.
I might have budgeted a little bit, because I said maybe April 23.
Yeah.
Can we get the Orange County Drainage District involved in more areas in our city?
Good luck.
Well, I mean, we've got a really, I know everybody doesn't think so, but we've got a good working relationship with
Yeah.
the drainage district.
Yeah,
So if there's any issues that come up that they need to address, with the exception of the outfall that goes behind Mr. Flurry's
I
property.
know, I was talking about like the little gullies, that's what I call them, little gully cleanouts and stuff like that. Should that be done? Cause we can't be done by us, I know we don't have the equipment for that.
Well, the problem with the drainage district is there's not right of way for them to go in throughout the city.
Are you talking about, the Holly Street crossing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And
Because they have to get their equipment along the right of way to go, and there's not a lot of right.
Say on that building, where does the individual's property end? Is there a right of way?
Where the water starts.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So they usually get a right of way. And they tell us if you can get the right of way, we'll help you, but not everybody.
Not everybody's gonna let
have
you on there.
a track hoe and everything on their property.
And the individuals for decades have not taken care of it.
Yeah,
They let the trees still grow up in there.
this next stage of the drainage, if I remember correctly, shows up to Holly Street, being cement lined, doesn't it?
yes,
From-
that was the
From the
preliminary.
Walmart end to Holly Street?
Yes, that was our preliminary.
Preliminary, yeah, so.
So with the escalation of construction costs, you know, we're gonna end up having to take that project and shrink it because the money is just not gonna go as far.
Yeah, the longer you wait, the more expensive it is. So I was talking about the Orange County, you know, we
Especially
talked
now.
about over there, like Mr. Flurry and Dean. I mean, water can't flow uphill. You know what I'm saying? It ain't.
Right.
I mean, that's just, I don't know what to say.
Could you take a floating truck hose and a big amphibious truck hose and go down through there?
It involves the Corps of Engineers.
All right. It's all wetlands in there too and everything.
Yeah, well, if we got, I was just thinking if it involves us fixing the drainage to keep everything from flooding around here, they may be a little more lenient. I know they're pretty strict about the wetland and stuff.
Honestly, I don't think our problem is the city drainage. I think it's Adams Bible from all the hurricane, the silt being pushed up in, and there's not as much, we just don't have the flow we used to. And until they dredge that.
Dredge it out.
We're not gonna see a lot of relief.
And who would it be, the state or the federal? The dredge out of it?
It'll be the federal government.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else?
So I know they are, because Mike's over it, and I think the mayor goes to them, the EDC is aware of all our vacancy places that businesses could come to. Are they aware of all of them?
Anything that's listed with a realtor.
Okay, like for the lot down here, Western?
If it's listed with a realtor, they have access to the MLS.
Okay,
What's the story on the schools over here? You got
coming off for Chevron.
And at the high school or the,
Junior high.
oh, yeah, junior high, old high school.
You know that everybody knows that RV park that was gonna be there in the rain hose. It's falling through. Now you know it's not. The guy called Teresa and said that his financing fell through. I guess it was, Monday fell through. I had high hopes, something will happen there, but.
Well, Austin Mellon started on this project down there. Suez, remember he was in here asking for a, deviate from the, or some, office building.
Where?
Down by Suez, the old GE Vets, Foreman Road.
Where the old mini storage was.
Yeah.
Later sodas was.
I think he's gonna put in an RV park there. Saying he's had it all, they've been grinding, shredding and cleaning it all up.
What else?
On the streets, what about the South Street's ground? What's the south is gonna be the next project, get it repaved? And then where from there, which direction?
Well, they've already Bomac Flint, got Milam. This is part of the contract that we did, all of the concrete repairs in Fair Park and Winona Park. So Flint, Milam, Smith, Dowling, Burnett. And that's it.
What about Dayton, are they gonna?
I would like to
Oh,
see Dayton.
Dayton Street.
Okay.
I see, I would like to see Dayton.
What's the progress on it, do you know, how long it's gonna take them to? I know that's
That's an open.
well, I just didn't know if they had a projection set, I mean,
Just
I know,
projected.
They
I know
do
Western-
have a projected completion date for the whole project, it's at the end of July, but I don't think that that's gonna happen. There's procurement issues with cement, raw cement, so there's that, there's weather. Scheduling their laydown crews is gonna be just as critical, because they're paving somewhere all the time.
July 26th is what the schedule says. What schedule says?
I was just curious how long it was, what they were kind of trying to, like Western came, after they grounded, they're having problems getting the asphalt, and so I didn't know what they're hoping to finish products.
So when they mix in the cement, they do the stabilization process, get density on it, that South Street will probably take about 2 or 3 days. And then it'll be prepped, it'll be ready for pavement.
Just keep thinking, it's gonna be nice when they get through. Think about 16th Street, how nice it is now that they're through. Almost, they got strike, at least they hadn't got a strike the last time I was there. So, anybody else got anything?
I was impressed with how fast they got Western Avenue done. Way faster than I thought.
We have, of course, in the last council meeting, we approved John going out for, clearing from Irving Street to Foreman Road as a retop, and we've gotten some, estimates from our engineering firm. Probably, approved going out for bid for that on the June 20th. Is that right, John?
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Anybody got any more questions?
will be applying for historical markers for next year for the city. And I did find out that that could be taken from the hot fund. The hot fund,
Hot fund,
hotel tax, hotel occupancy tax.
thank you.
I'm sorry.
Not doing my own.
And the Adopt a Street program, I'd like to address that one too.
All right.
Are we going to eventually get signs for that? Okay.
Yes.
Or do we have a waiting period that we want to wait to see if they're actually dedicated to what they're doing? Like my group, we're not even doing it till June for the first time. And can we have some kind of recognition, like, I don't know, some kind of recognition for them?
People gonna volunteer to go pick up trash.
We've got
A lot.
We've got Western covered, got all of Dayton covered, half of Smith covered, and all of Burnett covered, plus Cappy Park and Westbury so far. I really haven't been pushed it a whole lot lately. Go to a meeting Wednesday, so I'll find out more of what.
What's the story on that? What's the story at the Dodson Fire Truck?
Still scheduled to hit Mississippi in mid-June. Still up to our schedule.
How long after that will it take?
About 2 to 3 months-ish. And everything else depends on material. You know, getting parts. And that
On a grant, were we running up against the deadline for the fire truck? Wasn't there a deadline sometime this year?
We're waiting on a change order for the cover to come back, that we haven't received that back.
I was sent.
It was sent to them, and I think John talked to them about it, but.
Yeah, I visited with him last week, and he said that he was gonna email it, and I still haven't received it.
We're not ready to bank it anyway. But my only concern was that we would have to file for an extension on that grant.
Not in the grant, but in the contract.
The grant money's okay, we're good on time. It'd be a contract, where the contract was executed.
Anybody else?
Other houses that are being torn down. Is there any more on the list? Do we have any coming up in the future?
So we've got 14 currently on the list. We've got 3 that are ready to go to letting, which would be, present a package or put a package together, go out for bids. You guys approved the contractor, and we could do 3. So the issue, I think, has been getting the lien holder reports back. I don't know why it takes so long, but those guys, we had one company that we solicited, they hadn't even started on them as of 2 weeks ago, and that was done in March. So we pulled those from that company, but as of right now, we've got 14.
Those are running behind everywhere, and there's a couple that have stopped even doing them. They're so busy. They just don't need the work. It's, you do a title policy, the premium can, run several thousand. Those reports, they run, $200-300.
Yep.
So just the profit margin.
And we've moved the searches up for those reports. We've moved them up in our list of things that we have to do. And that way we make sure that, you know, when we have our public hearing, that we're notifying everybody. I think we had 1 or 2 properties that we had an issue with that didn't make the list because we didn't notify the right people.
And you have to have a title company that has a title plant to do it. And basically, you've got security and now capital. So you can go to Stewart in Houston or Beaumont, but they're gonna have to end up contracting with the same 2 companies, so.
So we've got 3 houses right now that we could go out for bids on. You wanting to wait?
I would like to see 7 or 8, make it more attractive in the bidding process. I think we'll get better numbers if we, you know, increase that quantity. Contractor comes in and, you know, he's just looking at 3 houses versus looking at 7 or 8. I think we'll get better pricing. Obviously, more competition, I would think.
I looked at Orange's list of contractors, and they were, they had a long list of contractors that they were going out to bids for, and the ones that they got back, I believe the ones that they read it to were gonna be anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 a house, something like that, or a property. I guess, and it depends on what's on the property. I would think that a place like on the corner of Galveston and Western, with 3 buildings on it, and a big tree laying on one of them, might jack that price up a little bit, but anyway.
And the slabs,
Anyway,
that's big.
so that's kind of where we're at today. Anybody else got any questions?
Is there an ordinance against, for having those pods in the front yard of your house?
Like pods, pods,
Just
Storage pods.
storage units?
It'd be considered a storage building, I would think.
So you can have, okay, I didn't know.
You can have them, but they're, that could be permitted to move in, inspected. We allowed some, after the hurricane, and that's probably the one you're talking about.
on Portland,
Yeah, been there for years.
just a few.
They could have bought their whole building for what they're probably paying in rent for the thing.
Or not?
I've heard that million.
They may have forgotten about
Anything else? One of the things I'd like for us to do as a council is to, come up with a plan for the future. I don't know that we want to try to do that at this workshop, but 5 or maybe even a 10-year plan for the city. What is our vision for the city of West Orange? What would we like to see done? If we don't start making plans for that now, then every year it comes up and we just have, well, what's next year? You know, what's next year? And we don't have a vision for how we see West Orange progressing as a city, then I don't think we're going to progress much. You know, we're just gonna, we'll do some things here and there, and take care of this and that, but, I'd like for the, city to have a 5 or 10-year plan. And, we'll work on that again some other time. One of our items, our next item is C, review future personnel and our budget needs to achieve these goals. I'd have to ask our department heads how they feel about that, and is there a need for extra manpower or personnel?
It's a moving target. If the city count thing comes, I do think there will be a need for manpower needs. The problem we have with that is there's no tax dollars coming from that to us. Say, while we will have some, I guess, external dollars coming in, it's not enough to fund the issues that come with that construction.
Yeah. I figured there's gonna be a lot of riffraff on that.
And we won't know till it gets here. I mean, yeah. Our housing is pretty well stocked up now, so I don't know how much more you can put here. Some, but, you know, will it go to Louisiana, will it go to North Orange, will it go to Port Arthur, Beaumont? And they just commute every day, which is gonna present challenges of itself. But, we have that. I'd like to see all of our city records digitized. We're running out of room. Some of them from the beginning of time that are mandatory we keep. They're all upstairs.
Still on paper and folders?
Oh, yeah, you wanna go upstairs and look?
No.
We get rid of the record we can through shredding, but a lot of them are called permanent records. We can't destroy them or get rid of them.
You think they'd cost cheap ballpark, or do you have an idea?
At one time, probably 4 or 5 years ago, we got a ballpark figure. I think it was around 100,000. Probably 400 or 500 boxes.
Oh,
Oh, easy,
Upstairs.
easy.
I get advertisements, emails from, companies that want to come in and digitize all of our, so there's companies that will come in and do all that for it.
I was trying to wait for a mitigation grant that would cover the record retention in case of damage. But I've been turned down too many times, so I don't think that's a priority for them on mitigation.
So it doesn't mean that we can't look into what it would cost the city to have someone come in and do that for us.
Well, instead of paying that, couldn't we just hire somebody to work for the city? I mean, think
We're gonna
about,
have to create a whole system. But how do you digitize them? You know, is it microfilm? You can't get a microfilm machine anymore. Is it PDF? What's PDF gonna be in 10 years?
yeah,
It's just, you've gotta find something that's wide open as far as changing that format.
So to answer your question, yes, if we had a system set up to do that, we could hire someone to come in and.
you know, I'm saying that would be cheaper than 100,000, and we would have an extra employee to.
That would be a full-time job.
Yeah, that, you're not gonna be able to pull that
Well,
employee.
that's what I'm saying, I mean, it still, you would have somebody here all the time versus.
The insurance benefits and everything else goes along with a new employee.
When you hire a contractor to come in that knows what they're doing, can set the system up, you have that bulk work done, then you hire a person to keep up with it. I mean, it's just, to me, that sounds kind of mind-boggling, how we would get all of that paperwork digitized, I mean, scanned and put on file. I just, to
And
me,
you
that's.
got to think too, they all gotta be indexed.
Yeah.
Just how do you search for it?
I want it's 100,000,
That was years ago.
maybe it's 200,000. It's gotta be done, don't you? Gotta be done, let's do it.
Sooner or later, it's gonna have to be done. All right, so, part of our plan for the city in the future, we need to, think about, you know, Mike mentioned what CP Kim's gonna do. Well, we're gonna have to request to have stoplights put in at, maybe at Dayton and Western, and maybe down here at Foreman Road and Western. You know, is that we feel like the stop signs will take care of the direct projected traffic and thoroughfare we're gonna have going through the city? What about our streets? You know, we're gonna have brand new streets for heavy trucks to come in and tear up, you know? Just, that's the kind of things that I think about, you know, what are we gonna do in the future? What is our plan for the future to take care of all that stuff? I'm real happy that we're getting all the grants we're getting, but sooner or later, I think the grants are gonna go away.
Absolutely.
And, we'll be kind of on our own, trying to figure out how we manage, all the extra that someplace like CP Ken's gonna bring in. Extra traffic, extra street work, extra, you know, it's just gonna be crime, maybe.
Crime, yeah.
That's what I said, the riffraff coming in here.
So, just need to, continue to have those kind of things in the back of my mind. I'm open to ideas and looking at what we can do. And, you know, keep minds on that. And city, what the city needs to be doing in order to survive after all this grant money runs out, basically, because our tax base is not gonna go up anything. I don't see it appreciating any great deal, you know, we may get a few more businesses in West Orange on MacArthur Drive, or maybe even here in town, but, it's not gonna be enough to take care of the.
You have like 1.4 million we'll have on tax roll this year because of Eagle River. It was annexed in the city before January 1.
They're coming across like they're supposed to.
Or they're supposed to.
Well, you know, like we had to all suit on them, didn't we?
Yeah, we ended up annexing them because they had no response.
There wasn't a lawsuit, but the government code provided a way to do it.
We got it.
Yeah, they're in it.
They're in the
We
city.
got it.
Yeah, we'll see probably 9.5% increase in our insurance, building insurance, car insurance, workers' comp insurance, some things of that nature. Probably about a 7% increase in health insurance. Of course, we're dealing with rising fuel costs now. Employment concerns, I think that's everywhere. You know, you may have some openings, but can you fill the openings with the, I know that I've got people now that are looking to get out of this work because of this work itself. I think our employment pool is lacking. Then you get to salary competitiveness. I don't know if we could compete with the city can or not. You got to be able to sustain that. I'll be asking for an additional patrol vehicle this year because when we added the code enforcement spot, we just took one of the old vehicles and kept it another year, but now we replace some vehicles that are kind of backlogged in the line. And we had one on order since October and haven't got it yet.
How long ago last year? 5 years? Oh, it was or-
We've got some that are older than 5
Yeah.
years. It just depends on mileage and maintenance costs is what it really drills down to. Some 80,000. As long as they're not costing us to maintain, they're in good shape, they're safe. I'd like for us to look at an increase or actually a new pay column for our specialized team that we have and give them a little incentive for doing what they do basically voluntarily. Our buildings, it's the air conditioner repairs, we're probably going to need some sheetrock repairs where they clean up walls and put it in other places. We've got holes in the walls. And probably time for some painting at a city hall also. You'll notice up there the sheetrock's cracking, burn out. building security updates, camera systems and such. Our camera system is an old analog system. Basically, some cameras that do work, but not very many.
Good information. John, you got anything to add to the personnel issues? So,
Been looking for a truck driver for 7 months, hadn't found it.
CDL,
What's the one that y'all had, did he quit or something?
Or something.
All right, hey, on the generators, are they finished installing the generators on the lift stations?
No. I think they've got 2 more left. I don't remember exactly what it was. We met about that last week. So they were waiting on one. Paperwork was lost by FEMA, so they had to start over on one. I do know that. Yeah. It's progressed.
Okay. I was just wondering, that, the sewer system down there, I know they were supposed to start upgrading on that. What's the status on that?
We have not got the plans.
99%.
So are we still waiting on engineering firm plans on that?
Yes, that's correct.
They have a date of when they think they could have it?
They do not. Their estimated completion date is December 31st, 2023.
I was just curious.
they basically have to rebuild or build a new water treatment plant down there.
Well, it's gonna be on the same footprint. They're gonna remove some old equipment, replace it with different types. So the type of equipment is gonna change, you know, the drying beds and that kind of stuff. So there's gonna be a lot of new, some of the old is gonna stay.
What was the status on that? Remember we was talking about the pipeline to run it to the Spring River? You and were talking about it. Whatever happened with that?
Nothing.
Okay. I was just curious.
When
Oh, I didn't know. He was talking about it.
too expensive to run a pipeline to the Spring River. And then there were some issues with flows and fixing and all that.
Yeah.
Eileen? So has anybody else got anything? Any questions? Risa, how's your end of everything doing?
As long as I can keep everybody I have now, we're good. If I lose anybody, it's gonna be. A good crew going right now, everybody seems to be getting along well and working together, and you've got a good team.
Have had any equipment or anything, you know, like this big?
Well, we budget every year,
Or if it is,
that's on a grant, and in fact, we're taking bids for that now, so. That's. And I'm working on an RFP now for a new website. So that'll be hopefully, it'll take probably close to a year, but to get that all done, but then that's, see updated, fresh looking. Yeah. And that's also for print money.
Our department got anything?
Wish list. We need, I'm asking for a few things. Couple things we really need to do, and we have to do. We need to upgrade our firehouse software is going away, our reporting system. Basically got bought out twice, and it's being phased out, and no longer supported as of December 31st of this year. The new system, people own it. Whole new system, it's gonna be cloud-based, and it's gonna cost us $7,000 to bring it in. And then probably, that's like 4,000 a year after that. You said, the company that offers it, they have a lot of other stuff that goes along with it. It's our compressor, cascade system. The other one can't be repaired anymore. You know, talk about the price on that already. We hopefully it'll stay. The last price I got was still, so we're still good. I'm gonna put it on the budget. Also, you know, ask for some additional radios. Additional radios and some additional SCBA's. If, I have a grant out with the Forest Service that offset equipment stuff, we could possibly offset some of that if we get funded. Our score's kind of low, so it might not happen this year. I'd like to remodel, do a little update to our station, so that's no big deal. It's needs it. And also, I looked at a training program that's along with our software, our reporting system. So they would coincide with each other, but that's also additional. Also talk about service truck. All those equipment, like on the fire scene the other day, we put all our fire hose on the tailboards of the truck, and there's some vehicles down here with coolers and so on and so forth. It'd just be an additional vehicle. Probably, I would like to put on there, what we can get about a couple of sets of buffer gear as needed. You know, it's like everything else, it's taking forever to get anything in. That's a going thing right now. You think ain't nobody get parts for nothing, ain't nobody get anything new. You know, or like service and repairs on the trucks. You know, that's something went way over this year. Asphalt last year was 15, and that's about what we spent this year, but we only got a lot of 10. Got new one coming, so we get one. So that'll be a plus. That's basically what we're gonna ask for. Cooling system is gonna be a must, and air compressor is gonna be a must.
Semi air compressor, that's the cascade system?
Yes.
Okay.
Cascade system. Like to put I asked for it last year when we put a regular air compressor in, so we could help keep the air up on the trucks that we have now. So we ain't gotta wait. Air up the trucks before we leave out with it. I have a stationary compressor station to do with. You know, we can,
What kind of compressor do you need? It's
I just need a,
tank and a compressor on it?
Regular air
just
compressor.
probably need like a 60-gallon compressor wired in. It, one for Home Depot, like about $900, I think, and we can plumb it in with PVC, pretty cheaply. Whatever, we can plumb it in ourselves, if we just get the compressor. And material to plumb it in with. Whatever. That would help keeping the air up on the trucks. already scheduled right now to get the trucks pump tested again June 1st. So, and so this time of year, when we start having everything tested, CVAs and repairs that need to be done as such, that along with that. But the air compressor, they tried to service it twice this year, and they can't get parts.
Or the SCBA bottles that are over there now are out of date and they cannot be retested no more. So they're pretty much, they're gonna be, they'll have to be scrapped.
How many should we put in the budget every year?
We got 3 this year. We got 6 coming with this grant, if we can ever get it. But we got a fleet of like SCBA, we got a fleet of 13, 14 packs and about 26 bottles. Now, or we started replacing our bottles, we got 3 over now, and we got, I think, so we're replacing half our fleet, but we'd like to continue to replace, you know, for everything else, the prices.
Try to put in a deal to where you kind of do at least three to 4 a year. That way you're not coming up to a big expense all at one time later down the road. I mean, you're always changing 2 or 3 bottles every year. Then you always got something to not like, oh, we're out, now we're in a bind, we got.
Same as bunker gear updated.
Right, and do the same thing with bunker gear, because that way you're not up to having to spend, thousands and thousands of dollars all at one time. I mean, it's kind of spread out over years.
We got, and I hadn't put it in here, but we're supposed to do our year, get it cleaned and tested. Also, company wise, at a symposium, they charge like $150 a year to come clean, test, and repair your gear.
It's per set,
Per set.
150%. I mean, so you ordered what, 12 sets of gear?
We'll have, we got 6 coming. Then we got 6 over from the Park Service grant, jackets and pants. Everything else to go along with them 6, and 6 more coming, complete sets.
So how many sets total?
We gonna have, we got right now, we're gonna be 14 sets. With everything.
It's everything.
With everything.
Half food.
That includes the 6 that you got 6 fairly new sets over there now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The 6 that we bought when we first got here,
yeah, they come up on 3 years already.
yeah, they're coming. 10 years, it's a lot. You got 10 years. Everything in the fire service has an expiration date per se.
And pretty much we have personnel for every piece of gear that we got. Actually, we're gonna end up with short on one year. I think by the time we get all this here in for our personnel issue, and a lot of our personnel that we've got in is, they're waiting on gear, but they're being pretty active. You know what I'm saying? Is, they're patient with a lot of it. We did have one lady that she joined, but worked for Acadian, but she ended up turning in her radio. She ended up deciding she didn't have time for it, so she turned in a radio, which freed up a radio for us, which helped a bunch.
And she gonna move, so that's why she turned in her stuff. But yeah, like, we issued it right back out. Because
We have firemen without radios right now, right?
Yes.
Radios. Hey, radios.
we bought, I put in here for 3, I got enough for 3 in there.
Are we presently paying for radios to be frequencies a year that we can't account for?
Sorry, I can't hear.
Say that again?
Don't we have radios that we can't account for?
We have a master listing of radios. We pay per radio per month for the radio tower.
Yes.
And we audited ours and Teresa audited the fire departments. I don't know what that end result was.
All the radios that we have out right now is basically the newer radio, these radios. And that's, and the ones that we turned in, that are, didn't make the cut to be rolled over anyway. But I,
Couldn't use those.
you can't use them anyway.
Well,
Yeah, it should be any radios unaccounted for.
When you say turned in, where do you turn them in at?
It was Mike Tito, and like I said, they couldn't be reprogrammed, and we never got them back. No,
I don't know.
well, they turned off wherever they are. I was told he brought them
And
back.
those were still paid for monthly?
I'd have to see the serial number on it.
Like,
He's our computer guy, radio guy.
oh,
Mike Zito.
He picked them up, took them to K's, or wherever he took them, and said they were unprogrammable. That's why they didn't work.
But those were replaced.
Well, they were replaced with the two new
Yeah.
models that we bought when we got here. But he never returned them to us. I assumed he turned them into Mike.
okay.
Somebody needs to get with Mike Zito and find out what happened with radio. Especially if we're having a thing.
So they're turned off, and our new ones are all turned off.
There are two deals Zito's got.
They can't be used.
Okay, so that's,
They're out of service, I don't know how.
okay.
I think they should still be on inventory, because I
I'll
don't
have to
know.
pull the list
Never
on
taken
here.
them on.
Do you know what the serial number is, or the ID number?
Got the master serial numbers, but I don't know if they have two or not.
About the only model cell numbers that we have is from what we've got since we've been here. There's probably radios from before we got here that we have no idea anything about. But everything that the guys had that we knew about, was held in inventory. Prior to us, I have not a clue.
I got the serial number right here, where I sent them to Zito.
One other issue I have with the council is I'd like to have a workshop type meeting once a quarter. This is May. That takes care of the second quarter. I'll schedule another one for August. The other item is that, all of our department heads need to be working on their budget. It sounds like Mike has been putting some serious thought in on his. And, y'all as well, in the fire department, make sure you adequately cover what your needs are. Y'all have been working on his. Teresa said she has. So, I don't have anything else. This workshop was just to be for, an update for everyone. And well, I tell you what, Laney's here now, and maybe we need to hear from Laney about what she talked to people about and, what you see as, some of the city's needs that you've heard about.
Well, everybody's glad that Western Avenue is fixed and repaired. Drainage is always the biggest topic of discussion, if I had to pick one. And up the houses that are dilapidated in the city.
Tell us a while ago, we've got 3 ready to go right now, but we're going to wait until we get about 8. Bid. Go out. That may happen at our next, hopefully at our next council meeting, we'll have a few more to have demolished. And then we move forward. Anything else, Lane?
No, it's,
Drainage, you know, we're working on. We're working on that part. Over the next year or so, a couple of years, I guess. We have.
something I would like is, that really bothers me and is that, and I know that we have an ordinance allowing for it, but is that there is no zoning in this. It's a lot of development in Orange County, and I think it's gonna start coming this way because they have to have somewhere to go, and I think we need to be real thoughtful in that. So we want growth in West Orange, we want the right kind in the right locations, and I think that's something that maybe we need to look at, creating as a zoning, committee. Some of that.
I have a comprehensive plan, has that been done?
We drew up an ordinance on like something, because it's allowed in our charter and we have it, we just don't have the.
Usually the first step is a comprehensive plan, that has to be passed, and then everything has to kind of fall and build on that. So it's,
You still have that?
well, the ordinance should probably still be effective.
Right.
But you kind of, it's a bit, it doesn't have to be super, super detailed, but it's just kind of governs, and then all zoning has to fit within that plan. Roll it out.
It's like a revolving door.
So it's, I mean, there's universities that do it. I know Battery used, I think it was UT Arlington to do their plan. But basically you have to have it to where all the growth, what you're anticipating is gonna happen, has to fit with that plan. You can amend the plan, but what the government code requires.
So someone on this council,
You talk about ordinances and stuff like that. Another thing we need, I guess, I've talked to you about, they're associated with non-county building. A major rig we can build. We can actually go out and build. The city can build. I think we got that. Think you got that? No. Okay, I didn't see it in ordinances, no, that I read, so I don't think. We got an ordinance that we can get a company.
Substantial service reimbursement. Yeah, for specialized service.
Right. We can like get recall, we can build our nuisance alarm.
we do have that ordinance, I read through that.
I didn't see it, and the ones I read, I didn't know.
There's no ordinance.
We just gotta, we can get, take care of that for us, we just submit the reports.
Did you ever get any more phone?
Yes.
He will replace.
He'll manage it on.
Okay.
I received $300. About $600 in grant for credit card for Robert's rates. Then we go back, make that, so with some tools or hardware or something like that from them.
Anything else? Hour and 20 minutes. That's one of the longest council meetings we've ever had. So we know we want a plan of action, 5-10 years out. What do we see West Orange looking like in the next 5 to 10 years? What kind of vision do we have for West Orange? Everybody knows we need to work on a budget. We discussed some goals for fiscal year 2023, but not really. I want to go back to B, item B, and then we'll adjourn. Is there, I guess we talked some, fire department's definitely got some ideas. Mike's got some ideas about what he wants, and I guess John will,
We're just trying to survive.
Teresa's, she and her crew do
John wants to host a prom party here for the next 10 years. Isn't that right? Like a countywide prom party,
Yeah.
city of West Orange, do
Yeah.
that? And he wants to be in charge of that. That's it. He wants to be head of that committee.
Second.
And I want to be on
No
vacation.
comment, John.
I'm going to have a vacation that week.
Hey, what about, you know, say in the fall, the weather's nice and cool, and we have this grassy area right here, what's the chance of us having like the outdoor movie theater? Things like
I
that.
thought about calling
You know?
Walmart.
I don't know about Walmart, but they used to, you could rent, you
You
could
could rent
rent.
those big screens.
Yeah,
Walmart did do that. They
Yeah.
showed up,
Yeah.
and we went out there when they contacted us, stand by there.
Right.
We went out
They
there.
have the stuff. to
Yeah,
do it.
and I don't know how, there was only certain Walmarts that got it. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was kind of
Mine
spread
had
out.
it too.
Yeah, and it was pretty nice, they were really cool, I mean, I have to admit, they did a good job. Hope they come back, or, you know, contact them, we went over here, but they typically won't do it. Or Walmart, they was.
that's what I always think, it would be really nice to have something right here in the park. You know, when the weather cools off in the fall, you know, and get the community come out and watch a movie or something. For Christmas, we could have a Christmas movie playing up there, or something, you know, just to get the community being involved. Yeah, she's gonna, just know. Things like that. I was also wondering about maybe what the chances are of the Kathy Park, like if we put in a splash pad like Bridge City has, you know? How
You can talk to the water department, see if we can get the water free.
Well, it brings it, it can just.
we could regenerate it through there.
That's all stuff that's, you know, that's
Y'all,
possible.
get on the water department, you expand their water system.
Yeah. I was just, something, because it gets so hot in the summertime
Maybe just
here.
a little splash.
There's a lot of liabilities that go along with that.
There is a lot of liability.
Yes.
I just think it'd be something to look into.
Yeah, I'm all for, you know,
A lot of cities switched from pools to that.
splash pad.
Because there was less slide. There's more maintenance design, well, around a pool, there's stuff you have to do with the line, but at least it's less than having actually standing water. They're expensive.
Lots of grants for those, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of grants for the parks projects to do that kind of stuff.
Maybe, that may be something we could look into, because like I said, it's so hot in the summertime. It would give the kids something to do here, and then, you know, maybe put up, I don't know how much lighting we have out here, but maybe put new LED lights for this park, because that way they can play at nighttime when the sun goes down, it's not as hot. And in the baseball park, what I was gonna say is, I know there's some select baseball teams that are going over there and practicing and playing. They really like
We do
this
need
field.
lights there.
And I think they may be hosting games over there, I'm not sure, but they're wanting to. And so, I think that would be a really good, if we were to update Wesco lights and make it nice, stands and all, it would benefit, because we would draw in people to the city.
That's where the grant comes in.
Yeah, that would all be, to me, it should all be part of our overview of what we want our parks to look like. You know, exactly what we want to do, and I'm all for that, you know, you might, we add in the ballpark.
Well, you got, you know, if you got kids there for the ballparks during the daytime playing ball, and they got brothers and sisters, they can go over to the splash pad and, you know,
we have our picnic tables and such, they can enjoy the town, because those games go on like all day long and into the evening. And the, well, they,
Some of the industries here too may be interested in sponsoring some of those also.
yeah, I was kind of wanting to, I was hoping that one of these meetings, Chevron would show up, you know, or somebody, and I could say, hey, you know what? So, but,
I might know people.
They'll have a lot more opportunities. Maybe we can get them in. Maybe we can threaten the annex. No. Kidding. So I don't have anything else. I think we exhausted ourselves for the day, and we'll have another meeting I guess in August, maybe. And there's a workshop other than our regular council meetings. So y'all keep in mind what your goals are to serve the citizens of West Orange and to help West Orange be the best place it can be to live.
I do want to ask the fire department something, and this is actually something that drives my husband crazy, and after looking at it, I don't always agree with him, but I agree with him about this. On South Street, he said, you got these guys in bunker gear and they're trying to get to the fire hydrants. There's those little railroad ties or those little janky, you know, bridges.
Not very safe.
Getting over there.
It's not very safe.
Not at all. And that's, even, I think even if the city had to spend money on that, some kind of a bridge or walkway that was safer for the firefighters to get over there to access that.
we could probably get Bayou Metal right here to build a,
To build.
Just railroad ties.
It's railroad ties that they have.
they could build a bridge with a grating and a railing.
There's no handles or anything,
Yeah,
yeah,
nothing
it's
there.
not safe.
It's
Yeah.
6 foot ditch.
We could get the water department to take the hydrant, move it across South Street, the ideal thing.
That would be the thing.
And then, if we ever had to use that hydrant, we might shut down South Street.
That's true.
Move it on the other side of town. That would be the ideal place to put it. But our hydrant system in the city is lacking completely. We have no hydrants on MacArthur at all. They're like 3 blocks in.
So any fires on MacArthur, if we get water, we got to take it from MacArthur.
We gotta take it
across
across.
16th Street.
Shut down MacArthur Drive, whole time we're there. Unless we lay a line from wherever it is all the way to the bayou, then that's a whole other hazard with that. Yeah, that's, I mean, there's got to be grants out there to upgrade the water system. Or, I mean, we're taking care of all the sewer systems, but we aren't to be able to upgrade the water, the distribution system. Ask for, they don't even test their hydrants. They would test it with some company asked for it, that was coming into the city. It's not available, they won't allow. Air and water. But yeah, they need to do some distribution system. As far as like our water usage and stuff, they used to call me and then just kind of went away. I think about it all the time. Call me, so I'll send you a spreadsheet, but I ain't got it yet.
Well, you think, man, flush or check hydrants every single day.
I think, well, I say that, I think they flush them every so often, but I can't, I have yet to see anybody flush.
I had to,
I haven't either. And I used to see them, and I have not, and I would think that would be a requirement.
Yeah, usually like, the last time I seen them flush hydrant, there was a whole bunch of activity on Facebook where it turned everybody's clothes on. Just because they don't do it very often.
So it's flushing.
You know, some of the fire mains in this city are probably less than 3 inches in diameter. They own major roadways. And like like I said, we don't have any hydrants on MacArthur.
We could speak to the water department about those kind of things, but we have no control over the water department.
We provide them with a lot of grant, or y'all provide them with a lot of grant money.
We tried to.
And you've been very successful at it. There's got to be, there needs. I mean, I showed him a hydrant, he didn't know he had it. But they were broke, we couldn't get it open, so I had him, it wasn't even on his map.
Well, who's in charge of these guys over here? Is it the county?
They're on board. They have a board just like y'all. Russell Love is the superintendent.
Who?
Russell Love.
Yeah, Russell. Well, that little-
Tom Willie's the president of the board.
Who?
Tom Willie.
So that little group right there, nobody is, like the county's not above them?
They're not a taxing entity, but they're by service.
So we need to gang up and make a meeting one night? Everybody go over and make one of their meetings? And try to get some answers?
They meet the same time y'all do.
That figures.
So I looked at that.
Oh, on our agenda, we can meet at the water board.
We can have a workshop.
I tried to end this meeting a couple times. Does anybody get anything else, or am I gonna gavel us out? All in favor of, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion, we adjourn the meeting?
Do you need one?
I don't need one for that.
Just beat that hammer.
Then I'd have consensus on the, all right, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting.